In a world where everyone is distracted, chasing approval, and bleeding in energy into battles that aren't theirs, there is one ruthless principle that makes you untouchable, turning your focus inward until it becomes a weapon. Today, I'll show you why self-focus is the sharpest blade in the war for mental power, and how it makes the noise of the world irrelevant. Your mind is the only territory in this world that is entirely yours, yet most people defend it less than they would a piece of worthless land. They allow anyone to walk in, friends, enemies, strangers on the street, even voices from glowing screens. They allow words, images, and emotions to slip past the gates without inspection. And once those intruders are inside, they begin their work, shaping your thoughts, altering your priorities, and draining your strength without you even noticing. The first rule of mental power is that your focus is the currency of your life. Where it flows, your future grows. If it flows into foolishness, your life becomes a field of weeds. If it flows into strategy, skill, and self-mastery, it becomes a fortress capable of withstanding any siege. Guarding your mind begins with seeing it as a kingdom under constant threat. Just as no fortress leaves its gates open at night, no mind of strength allows every influence to enter without challenge. You must decide, with cold calculation, which ideas strengthen your position and which weaken it. The weak believe that every opinion deserves attention, that every debate must be joined, that every emotional wave must be felt. The strong know that every thought allowed in is a soldier stationed in your mental army. So they choose their soldiers carefully. The reason most people fail at this is because they have been taught to confuse openness with strength. They are told that being exposed to everything makes them wise. But a fortress with no walls is not open. It is conquered. You must establish mental walls so high and thick that only those influences you have tested and approved may enter. This is not about ignorance. It is about sovereignty over your own mind. You will find that when you stop letting every voice echo in your head, your clarity becomes sharper, your decisions more ruthless, and your time infinitely more valuable. The world is a constant assault on your attention. Advertisements are designed to bypass your reason and plant desires you never asked for. News cycles are engineered to keep you in a state of fear and dependency. Social media is a battlefield where everyone fights for your gaze, because where your gaze goes, your energy follows. If you allow yourself to be pulled into these skirmishes, you are already losing. Not because the information itself is dangerous, but because it scatters your forces across 100 useless fronts, leaving your true objectives undefended. A guarded mind treats attention like a king treats gold, counting it, protecting it, and spending it only where it will return with interest. You do not let your enemies dictate the terms of battle by provoking your reaction. You do not waste resources fighting over scraps of territory in someone else's war. You choose the ground, the time, and the purpose before engaging, and you commit your mental army only when the victory strengthens your position. To guard your mind is also to guard the company you keep. People are carriers of ideas. Some carry ambition, discipline, and strategic thinking, while others carry doubt, weakness, and aimless emotion. Every conversation you engage in either sharpens your blade or dulls it. When you spend time around the weak, you are not just hearing their words. You are inheriting their limits. Their fears become your hesitation. Their pettiness becomes your distraction. You must be ruthless in your selection of influences, because your mind is the forge in which your future is shaped, and a forge polluted by ash cannot produce a weapon worth wielding. But this guarding is not passive. It is not enough to close the gates and hide. A fortress survives by both defending and fortifying. You must fill your mind with powerful thoughts, strategic lessons, and disciplined routines until they form the stone and iron of your inner walls. You must feed it with knowledge that sharpens your judgment, stories that inspire ruthless persistence, and challenges that demand your best. This is how a mind becomes impenetrable, not by isolation, but by deliberate, calculated selection of what enters and stays. When your mind is fortified, something remarkable happens. The attacks of the world begin to lose their effect. Insults glance off the walls without leaving a mark. The drama and noise of the crowd become faint, like distant shouting outside the gates. You no longer waste energy reacting to every provocation. because you have chosen to respond only to what serves your long-term advantage. This is the essence of mental power, the ability to hold your position while the rest of the world burns itself out in chaos. Your focus becomes a sharpened blade, and you wield it with precision. You do not allow yourself to be baited into battles where there is nothing to gain. You do not exhaust yourself defending every hill when the real prize lies elsewhere. And you certainly do not leave your mental gates unguarded, inviting any fool to plant seeds in the soil of your thoughts. Over time, this discipline compounds. The fortress grows taller, the gate stronger, the watchman sharper. Your enemies will find that, while they are still fighting for scraps, you have built a stronghold from which you command the entire field. If you want, I can now expand Keynote 2 in the same cold, Machiavellian style so the script flows seamlessly. That will make this piece truly commanding. The crowd thrives on noise. It is their lifeblood, their comfort, their addiction. They cannot exist in silence because silence forces them to hear themselves, and what they hear terrifies them. So they surround themselves with a constant roar. Opinions, gossip, outrage, and endless debates that lead nowhere. This noise is not harmless. It is a tool, keeps the weak distracted, drained, and dependent. And the more you allow it into your mind, the less control you have over your own direction. Detachment from this noise is not a luxury. It is the decisive move that separates those who command from those who are commanded. The noise demands your reaction. It will dress itself in urgency, pretending that every matter is life or death. It will tempt you with the illusion of participation, making you believe that if you do not respond, you will be irrelevant, forgotten, or left behind. But in truth, responding to every echo of the crowd is the surest way to disappear into it. The masters of mental power understand this. They withdraw from the chaos not because they are afraid, but because they know that the battlefield of the mind is won in quiet chambers, not in the shouting marketplace. To detach from the noise, you must first understand its purpose. It is not there to inform you, it is there to shape you. Every headline is designed to provoke your emotions. Every outrage is manufactured to pull your gaze away from your own objectives. Every argument is bait, carefully placed to trap you in cycles of reaction. The moment you bite, you surrender your focus. And focus, once surrendered, is rarely recovered without cost. The one who controls your attention controls your mind, and the one who controls your mind controls your actions. The disciplined mind treats noise as a form of warfare. It does not rush to engage, it observes. It evaluates whether the matter before it deserves attention, or is merely a distraction designed to weaken resolve. This is why detachment often looks like coldness to those trapped in the chaos. They cannot understand how you can remain calm while they panic, how you can stay silent while they argue, how you can walk away from matters they believe demand immediate action. What they do not see is that your silence is not ignorance, it is strategy. Detachment is not a refusal to act, it is the refusal to act on someone else's terms. You choose when to engage, and more importantly, you choose when to ignore. And in this ignoring lies a weapon more powerful than any response to starvation. When you withdraw your attention from the noise, you starve it. Arguments without an audience die quickly. Manipulators without your reaction lose their grip. Provocators without your outrage become invisible. The noise feeds on you, and when you stop feeding it, it collapses. The process of detachment begins with control over your inputs. Every source of information you consume is either sharpening your mind or scattering it. The undisciplined man scrolls endlessly, listens endlessly, reacts endlessly, until his mental energy is exhausted before the day even begins. The disciplined man chooses what enters his mind with the precision of a general choosing where to send his army. He consumes little, he consumes with intent. Each word, each image, each idea must pass the test. Does this strengthen my position or weaken it? If it weakens it, it is discarded without hesitation. Once you remove yourself from the noise, you begin to notice something. The crowd's urgency is an illusion. Most of what they scream about today will be forgotten tomorrow. Most of what they fight over will not matter in a week, yet they spend their energy as if each battle will decide the fate of the world. This is the trap. If you allow yourself to be pulled into every wave of hysteria, you will drown in shallow waters. The ones who rise to true power are those who remain still when the tide rages, watching, calculating, and striking only when the moment serves them. Silence is a force multiplier in this process. When you stop adding your voice to the noise, you create space for your thoughts to sharpen. You can hear the patterns others miss. You can predict the moves of the crowd, because you are no longer inside it. This distance gives you leverage. While they fight over meaningless scraps, you can position yourself for the real prize. They waste their strength on battles that leave them no stronger. You conserve yours for the war that matters. Detachment also changes how others see you. Those trapped in noise are predictable. They react exactly as they are meant to react. But the one who is detached, who does not give the expected response, becomes unpredictable. And unpredictability breeds respect, even fear. People realize they cannot pull you into their games. They begin to guard their words around you, uncertain whether you will engage at all. You have removed yourself from their control, and in doing so, you have taken the upper ground. In time, you will find that the noise becomes background static, present but powerless. You no longer feel the need to correct every lie, defend every attack, or respond to every provocation. You become immune to the emotional bait that controls the masses. Your mind is not dragged into chaos, it remains where it belongs. Focused on your objectives, loyal only to your long-term advantage. And in this state, you are no longer a player in the crowd's theater, you are the one watching from above, deciding when, if ever, to step onto the stage. Focus by itself is not power. It is only the raw metal. Power is forged when that focus is shaped, sharpened, and aimed with precision. Most people scatter their attention across countless trivialities, never concentrating it long enough to produce anything of worth. They mistake being busy for being effective. They are like soldiers firing arrows in every direction, hoping one will hit something. The strategist understands that a single arrow, fired with absolute accuracy, can achieve what 1,000 random shots never will. Disciplined use of focus transforms it from a simple habit into a weapon, one that can cut through obstacles and secure victories without wasting strength. The reason focus becomes leverage is because it compounds. Each day you direct your attention toward your own advancement. The gains stack upon each other. Skills deepen, knowledge sharpens, resources grow. While others are trapped in an endless cycle of reacting to the world, you are building something the world cannot see until it is too late. You may appear still, almost invisible. Beneath that calm exterior, your power is accumulating like a hidden tide. When the moment comes to act, you move with such precision and force that it seems effortless, because the preparation was done in silence. Turning focus into leverage requires a ruthless clarity about where your energy should go. Not every opportunity is worth pursuing. Not every battle is worth fighting. You must train yourself to see the difference between movements that serve your long-term position and those that simply burn time. The crowd will try to pull you into their pace, making you believe that everything must be done now, that you must always be visible, always participating. The reality is the opposite. The more you conserve your attention for the few decisive moves that matter, the more devastating your strikes will be when you choose to make them. The first stage of this transformation is mastery of your craft. Whatever field, skill, or pursuit you choose, your focus must be concentrated until your competence becomes undeniable. Power is not given to those who are average. It flows to those who command respect through excellence. This means removing every distraction that does not feed your growth. It means turning down invitations, ignoring trends, and sacrificing the comfort of blending into the noise. Every moment spent on the irrelevant is a moment stolen from the work that will give you leverage. The second stage is strategic positioning. Focus is wasted if it is poured endlessly into areas that yield no advantage. You must place yourself where your efforts have the highest return. This could mean aligning with the right allies, choosing the right markets, or timing your moves so that they coincide with moments of maximum impact. A sharp blade in the wrong hands, or aimed in the wrong direction, is useless. The value of your focus multiplies when applied to situations that expand your influence, resources, and control. The third stage is concealment. If others can see exactly where your focus is directed, they can anticipate your moves, counter your strategies, or even sabotage your progress. By keeping your true priorities hidden, you deny them the ability to interfere. On the surface, you may appear to be paying attention to one thing, while in reality, your energy is invested elsewhere. This misdirection allows you to develop your plans without interference, striking only when you have the advantage. The most dangerous opponents are those whose intentions cannot be read, because you can never prepare for what you cannot predict. The final stage is execution. Leverage without action is wasted potential. All the focus in the world means nothing if it is never converted into decisive movement. This is where the compounded results of your discipline reveal themselves. While others are exhausted from constant reaction, you are fresh, precise, and unopposed. You have conserved your strength for this exact moment, and because of that, your actions carry disproportionate weight. You do not have to fight every battle. You only need to win the ones that matter. Over time, this method creates a vast gap between you and the distracted masses. They work harder but achieve less because their energy is spread thin. You work selectively but achieve more because every ounce of effort is concentrated where it yields maximum gain. They are predictable in their constant motion. You are unpredictable in your deliberate stillness. This unpredictability is part of your leverage. No one knows when you will act, but when you do, it changes the game entirely. There is also a psychological element to this power. People are drawn to those who move with intention. In a world of scattered attention, the one who radiates focus commands attention without asking for it. Allies seek you out, enemies watch you with caution, and those in positions of influence begin to treat you as a force to be reckoned with. This is because focus signals discipline, and discipline signals capability. And in any arena, political, social, financial, capability is respected, even by those who fear it. Turning focus into leverage is not about speed. It is about building such concentrated strength in one direction that resistance becomes irrelevant. This is why the strongest players in any field are rarely the loudest. They are the ones working quietly, deliberately, until their advantage is so great that the outcome is inevitable. They know that focus is not just the act of paying attention, it is the art of turning that attention into results that shift the balance of power in their favor. And when that shift happens, it is rarely reversible, because leverage once gained does not easily return to the hands of the distracted attention. It is a form of nourishment. Whatever you feed with it grows, whether it is an ally, an idea, or an enemy. The masses waste this resource with reckless abandon, pouring their attention into conflicts that weaken them, people who drain them, and causes that offer nothing in return. They cannot help themselves because they believe reacting is strength. They think that to ignore something is to lose. But in the realm of power, the opposite is true. To withhold attention is to starve threats, to control narratives, and to maintain the upper hand without expending unnecessary energy. When you give your attention, you give away your most valuable currency. Even anger, outrage, and resistance are forms of payment. Your enemies do not always need your agreement to gain strength. Sometimes your opposition serves them just as well. The manipulator's greatest victory is not convincing you to support them, but making you focus on them at all. The strategist understands this trap. They know that to engage with a matter is to feed it, and that many battles are best won by denying the enemy the very thing they seek recognition. Withholding attention is not the same as indifference. Indifference is born of apathy. Strategic inattention is born of control. You are aware of the provocation, you have measured it, and you have calculated that it serves you better to remain silent. This silence is not weakness. It is a blade. While the other side exhausts themselves shouting into the void, you conserve your strength for a strike that will land when and where it matters most. This discipline requires emotional mastery. The average person reacts instantly to insult or challenge, believing that speed of response proves dominance. In reality, this reflex proves weakness. It shows that their emotions are easily provoked, and that their attention can be purchased cheaply. The one who masters the art of withholding attention cannot be baited into battles that hold no strategic value. They choose their fights with the precision of a jeweler choosing gems, knowing that the wrong choice is worse than no choice at all. There is immense psychological power in this restraint. When you withhold attention, you force others into uncertainty. They cannot read your thoughts, predict your moves, or know whether they have affected you at all. This unpredictability creates discomfort. People fear the unknown, and when they cannot gauge your reaction, they become hesitant, even cautious, in their dealings with you. They begin to see you not as an equal in their petty exchanges, but as someone whose time and mind operate on a different level entirely. Withholding attention also acts as a filter. Many provocations are designed not to harm you directly, but to lure you into exposing yourself, your plans, your weaknesses, your emotions. Every time you engage, you give away information. Every time you respond, you reveal your position. By refusing to acknowledge the bait, you maintain your secrecy, your composure, and your element of surprise. Your adversaries are left grasping at shadows, unable to gain the clarity they need to strike effectively. But the true brilliance of this strategy lies in how it shifts power dynamics. In any interaction, the one who decides what will be discussed and what will be ignored holds the real control. By refusing to acknowledge certain topics or players, you define the terms of engagement. The more you practice selective attention, the more you dictate the field on which the game is played. Others are drawn to where your gaze falls. They assume what you notice must matter. By the same logic, when you deny attention to something, it begins to lose significance in the eyes of others as well. In some cases, withholding attention can cause an opponent to destroy themselves. Those who thrive on provocation grow reckless when ignored. They escalate their behavior in a desperate attempt to pull you into the arena, often crossing lines that damage their own credibility or position. By standing firm in your refusal to engage, you let them reveal their instability to the world without ever lifting a finger against them. This is the elegance of the tactic. You win without fighting, you dismantle without direct attack. To master this art, you must train yourself to recognize the difference between what demands a reaction and what merely desires one. The former may hold strategic value, the latter is a trap. This recognition requires a cold clarity that is immune to ego. Your pride will tempt you to answer every challenge, to prove yourself in every exchange, to show you cannot be disrespected. But pride is the leash that keeps most men in chains. The strategist cuts that leash and lets his results, not his reactions, speak for him. In time, you will notice that your attention, once withdrawn, becomes more valuable. People learn that it cannot be gained cheaply, and they begin to treat it as something rare and powerful. They measure their words more carefully, present themselves more deliberately, and offer more in exchange for the privilege of your focus. You have transformed your attention from a common commodity into a weapon of influence. One that can elevate allies. Crush the battlefield of mental power is not won through constant motion or endless reaction. It is claimed through control. Control over your focus, your environment, and the terms of your engagement. Guarding your mind like a fortress denies entry to the forces that would weaken you. Detaching from the noise frees you from the chaos that consumes the distracted masses. Turning focus into leverage transforms quiet discipline into a force capable of shifting the balance of power. And mastering the art of withholding attention ensures that your energy is spent only where it multiplies your strength. In a world that worships distraction, your greatest act of defiance is ruthless self-focus. It is the shield that protects you, the sword that strikes with precision, and the unseen hand that shapes events without revealing its presence. While others scatter themselves thin across meaningless battles, you stand apart, silent, calculating, and ready to act only when the victory is certain. This is not merely a mindset, it is a weapon. And once you wield it with intent, you will find that the noise fades, the chaos passes, and the field belongs to you.